You're lying in bed again, scrolling, comparing, measuring yourself against 1,000 invisible standards. Your mind won't settle. Your chest feels tight. And somewhere inside, you know this isn't how it's supposed to feel. Like if you just achieve the right thing, earn the right recognition, become someone else, then maybe you'll finally breathe easy. Maybe then you'll matter. But Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in Rome, wasn't scrolling through anyone's validation metrics. He was writing to himself in the dark, practicing what the Stoics called prosouche, deliberate awareness of what you actually control and what you don't. And here's what he understood that we've forgotten. The most radical act of power isn't getting more. It's releasing what was never yours to carry. Like if you've been holding a rope attached to someone else's storm, and tonight you finally let it drop. Like if the weight you've been shouldering was only there because you decided it belonged on your shoulders. Like if you could look at the chaos swirling outside and remember that the sky behind the clouds has always been calm and it's closer than you think. Like this video, if something in that hits you right now, share it with someone who needs to remember they're not defined by what they produce or prove. It helps this message reach the people drowning in the same waters you're standing in. What if your evenings could be different? What if instead of fighting to switch off, instead of watching your thoughts accelerate as your phone dies, but your nervous system stays plugged in, you had a structured way to reclaim your mind, to separate what matters from what you've mistaken for mattering? The Stoics knew this. They practiced evening contemplation not as spirituality, but as maintenance. Your mind, like any garden, grows what you water. Tonight, we're learning how to tend to it. The Stoic framework rests on one unbendable truth. Some things live inside your sphere of influence, and some things don't. Your reputation lives outside. Your past mistakes live outside. Whether others validate your worth lives outside. Your effort, your intention, your response to what happens, that's what you get to control. And the moment you stop bleeding energy trying to control the uncontrollable, something shifts. You stop being pulled in 1,000 directions by winds that were never yours to command. You become heavy, grounded, real. Marcus Aurelius had everything. Power, status, legacy waiting for him like a guarantee. And yet each night he sat with his own mind and asked, what did I do today that mattered? Not because he needed external approval, because he understood that virtue, in that alignment between your values and your actions, was the only currency that held actual weight. The only thing you wake up with that's truly yours. This evening ritual wasn't luxury for him. It was survival. It was the difference between being king of the world and being enslaved by it. And the stakes for you aren't different. They're actually higher, because you have more voices shouting at you than Marcus ever did. More mirrors reflecting back versions of who you're supposed to be. More reasons to lose yourself. But here's what he would tell you. Start small. Start with tonight. Start with 1 hour before sleep, where you step outside the arena of comparison and stand on different ground. This is when you practice what the Stoics called prosouche, the art of seeing clearly what you can control and what you can't. When you practice the simple, devastating discipline of releasing what was never yours to grip. Think of your emotional attachments like a kite on a string. You're not supposed to hold it closer and closer until your hands bleed. The art is knowing exactly how much tension keeps it flying and exactly when to let the wind do its job. Most of us learn to grip tighter when the wind picks up. We learn that love means holding harder, that security means controlling more, that we matter only if we're essential. But the kite doesn't need your desperation. It needs your presence and your willingness to let it move. Your evening ritual starts with understanding this. You can be fully invested and completely unattached at the same time. You can care deeply and hold loosely. These aren't opposites. They're the only way anything grows. Let's start with the breath, because this is where every ritual begins. Before your mind can settle, before you can see clearly, your nervous system needs permission to stand down. Sit or lie down, somewhere dark, somewhere yours. Breathe in slowly for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Breathe out for 6. The extended exhale signals your body that the day is over, that you're safe, that vigilance can rest. Do this for just 90 seconds, 8 to 10 cycles. Don't make it spiritual or mystical. This is mechanics. This is biology. Your body hears it as threat has passed. Return to normal. After the breath settles, move into the 3 whys. Pick something that happened today that left a residue, something someone said, a mistake you made, a moment of comparison that stung. Write it down if you can. Then ask, why does this bother me? Write the first answer. Then ask, why is that true? Write the second. Then one more time. Why is that my reality? Usually by the third answer, you'll see the actual truth beneath the emotional surface. You'll see that you're grieving some version of yourself that doesn't exist. You're afraid of not mattering. You're comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. The 3 whys doesn't solve anything. It reveals what you're actually carrying, which is the first step to setting it down. This brings us to what I call the rope journal. Take 3 columns. In the first, write the thing you're holding on to, emotionally the narrative, the grudge, the need for others' approval, the perfectionism, the fear of irrelevance. In the second column, write the cost of holding this rope. What has it cost you in sleep, in clarity, in presence with people you love? In the third column, write the benefit. What does holding this rope give you? Usually you'll realize the cost is real and material, while the benefit is imaginary. It's the moment your hand opens. These aren't exercises. They're invitations to see what's actually true. And when you see clearly, letting go becomes almost natural. Almost like it's not even a choice, it's just the obvious next step. Here's what Marcus Aurelius understood that we've scrambled. Every emotion you have is rooted in a judgment about reality. The judgment comes first. The feeling comes second. You see someone's post and you judge. That person matters more than I do. Then you feel inadequate. You weren't born inadequate. You chose to judge. You weren't given the inadequacy. You created it through the judgment. The Stoic practice isn't becoming emotionless. It's becoming precise about what you're actually believing when an emotion arises. So when you lie in bed and the comparison hits, when your mind serves you a worst-case scenario about your future, when anxiety starts threading through your thoughts, pause. Step back. Ask, what judgment just happened? What did I just decide to believe about reality? Because here's the thing that changes everything: you get to revise that judgment. You don't get to change what happened. You don't get to control what others think. But the judgment in your mind, that's you. That's inside your sphere. Think of it like standing at the edge of storm clouds. The clouds are real. The wind and rain are real. Clear, infinite, untouched. Your essential self is like that sky. The thoughts and emotions and fears are like the clouds. They pass through. They seem all-consuming when you're inside them, but they're not the truth of what you are. When you lie down tonight and practice seeing the difference between the clouds and the sky, something changes. The anxiety doesn't disappear, but it stops looking permanent. It stops claiming your identity. The rope we talk about, the one you're learning to release, is usually this. It's the belief that you need to hold everything together, control everything, prove yourself, never rest, never be insufficient. It's knotted around your chest. It's been there so long that you think it's holding you up. You think if you release it, you'll collapse. But what actually happens? You breathe differently. You sleep deeper. You recognize that the things you thought were fragile were actually resilient. The people you love weren't staying with you because you were performing perfectly. The opportunities weren't disappearing if you weren't constantly hustling. The only thing you lose when you let the rope go is the exhaustion. Let me guide you through a practice right now. Find a quiet moment. You don't need more than 2 minutes. I want you to notice the difference between trying and presence. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes if that feels right. Feel your body making contact with whatever surface is holding it. The chair, the bed, the ground. Don't push into it. Just notice the weight being held. Notice that gravity is doing its job without your permission, without your effort. Your body is being held up not by your grip, but by simply being present to what's actually holding you. Now bring to mind something you've been gripping emotionally, a fear, a shame, a need for something to be different. And as you breathe, just observe it, like you're watching a cloud move across the sky. You're not trying to dissolve it. You're not fighting it. You're just seeing that it has shape and movement, and that behind it, you're still here, still breathing, still held. This is what Marcus meant by prosos, not aggressive effort. Simple, clear seeing. The more you practice this, the more you notice that you can hold something deeply important and simultaneously not be crushed by it, the easier it becomes to move through your days untethered. In this moment, right now, you're discovering something crucial. Peace isn't the absence of challenges. Peace is being clear about what you can actually control. It's releasing what you were never meant to carry. When you finish here and move through your evening, you'll start to notice patterns. You'll notice what you compulsively reach for when anxiety rises. You'll notice the exact moment you shift from responding to your life to performing your life for an imaginary audience. These aren't failures. These are data points. This is clarity forming. This is the Stoic practice in motion. What Marcus discovered by writing to himself each night is what you're discovering now. The evening isn't for productivity. It's for integration. It's for asking yourself the hard questions when the world finally stops demanding your attention. What did I act on that I actually believed in? What did I do just because I thought I was supposed to? Where did I choose fear over clarity? Where did I choose connection over control? These questions don't have perfect answers. They're not meant to. They're meant to keep you honest with yourself. They're meant to ensure that the person you're becoming when no one's watching is the person you actually want to be. The ritual itself, the breath, the 3 whys, the rope journal, is just structure. What matters is the intention underneath. You're creating a boundary. You're saying, this hour is mine. This space is where I remember that my worth isn't negotiable. It's not the product of others' opinions or my productivity or my status. It's inherent, and therefore I can release the need to constantly prove it. You're saying, tonight I let go of what was never mine to carry, the success I couldn't control, the failure that isn't my identity, the love I can't force, the validation I was never supposed to need. Tomorrow when you wake, you'll feel different. Not because your external circumstances changed, but because you changed your relationship to them. You stopped gripping. You started breathing. And in that shift, everything reorganizes. The same challenges exist, but they're no longer strangling you. The same uncertainties remain, but they're no longer your enemy. They're just the texture of being alive. The Stoics knew that this wasn't weakness. It was the only real strength. Because strength that requires you to control everything, prove everything, become everything, is actually fragility dressed up. It breaks under pressure, but the strength that comes from knowing what's yours and what isn't, that holds. The evening ritual is your training ground. Marcus used it to remember his own humanity even as the world tried to make him into a god. You're using it to remember your own truth even as the world tries to convince you that you're not enough. Write in the comments below, I am enough, and name the rope you're releasing tonight. The attachment, the fear, the exhaustion, the need to perform. Tell this community what you're putting down, and subscribe for weekly Stoic practices that go deeper each time, because this isn't a one-time thing. This is the architecture of a different life, one built on clarity instead of panic, on presence instead of performance, on being fully alive instead of constantly trying to become someone else.